Hey everybody. I thought I would just come in and give you a quick video going over basically what life on a manor was like. I know that you got a bunch of slides to complete the activity for the next 2 days, but I thought that this video would help because if we were in class, we would be looking at slides together. So let's jump right into it. Essentially, a manor um, is just a town. It's a word for a town during feudalism. Okay, and the idea of feudalism that I know we've spent the last 2 weeks on is that serfs, the poor people, would do work for the rich people, the lords and the nobles and the kings, would do a lot of work and grow them food in exchange for protection and housing. It is a mutually beneficial relationship in the sense that the villagers, the serfs, aren't on their own out in the middle of nowhere where they could get pillaged or killed or whatever, plundered by all the barbarians and Vikings and other nomadic tribes that are all over the place. So it works to benefit everybody. The manor itself is, like I said, all the land in an area. It's basically a town. So you'll have the castle, you'll have all of the villages, excuse me, the castle, all of the townspeople's homes, and all of those serfs, the poor people, are living together in really cramped and kind of crappy conditions, honestly. And the manor house is basically the castle. That's where your lords are going to live, and the knights, and the king, and so on and so forth. Okay. On the manor, you have the peasants, the knights, the lords, and the nobles. You also have the clergy, okay, which we had mentioned before. They mentioned that down here as a church. And there were other professions like blacksmiths, bakers, and peasants, and growing food. Those were basically the main things that were providing for the rich people. Okay. Each manor, so each village, was completely self sufficient. They relied on themselves. They didn't really rely on others because while there was trading certainly going on at this time, it was also just a really dangerous time to associate with other people outside of your own fiefdom, outside of your own manor, your village. So people were pretty insular. Okay, on the most part, people were growing food, all the peasants, and if they weren't growing food, they were these other jobs: millers, bakers, blacksmiths or metalsmiths, carpenters, who are the people that work with wood. They also gardened and dealt with livestock because they had to continue to produce food, and the people up in the high castle were not just going to be okay with just eating things that are grown all day. They want their meats as well. Okay, the lords are going to be the highest people in the fief. They are the ones that are providing protection, and they're also the ones that are making sure everybody is doing their job. Okay, they give out the land on the manor. They're also the ones that are in charge of collecting the fees, essentially, that these poor people, the serfs, have to pay, which is food and rent and so on and so forth. All the stuff in blue right here. Okay. I'm actually going to skip this one and jump right here to peasant lives. The life of a peasant was miserable. It was dangerous. This is one of the questions we asked before. You lived in cramped conditions, so you were more susceptible. You were more likely to get diseases. And if a disease hit a village, it was likely to hit everybody, which is why the Black Death ended up wiping out about a third of the population because they just could not escape it. And they had no means of, keeping a clean life that would make it better for everybody. So when disease hit, it hit everybody, and they were more susceptible to attack because if they couldn't get in the castle in time, tough bananas. They were going to get hit. Okay, they were given land, do the work. Farm the land and do the work for the benefit of the nobles. Okay, was it great living there? Absolutely not. This is what I was saying before. It was terrible. You still had to pay a 10% tax to the church no matter what of all of your income, as well as paying the lords all of this stuff anyway. It seems like a very terrible life, honestly, but this is the important part down here. You were guaranteed land, food, and protection. And protection was so important at this point, and also a sense of community that people were willing to do that. Okay. I'm going to skip seasonal duties. The church is the other massively important part here. Just like we saw last week, if you did not respect the church as a king, then the people didn't have to listen to you. Your rule was unjustified, and thus the people didn't have to obey you if the clergy said that they didn't have to obey you. So the church plays a very important role. People were allowed into the castle for holidays such as Christmas, Easter, All Saints Days, and the seasonal changes. I'm going to run out of time. It's cut me off in 5 seconds. So good job, everybody. Keep up the good work. Love you. Bye-bye.